Samurai Carpenter back again. I just wanted to do a quick video highlighting my tool vest because a bunch of my bros out there have been emailing me and commenting, where'd you get your tool vest? I got to get one of these. And I wish I could just tell you that they have them at Home Depot, but they don't because I made this myself by hand. Yeah, I know. Pretty awesome. But anyways, it's really simple. I've always hated tool pouches. You can probably relate. Yeah, I just wanted to show you though I made it so that if you guys wanted to make your own, you could, because honestly it works like a dream and I'll never wear a tool pouch again. So yeah, basically I just made it out of, thick leather, about 1/8 of an inch thick, solid leather. I just bought it bulk at like a leather supply shop, and I know you can get leather on eBay and that sort of stuff as well. So yeah, it's really simple to make, just a couple tools. You basically just need a leather stitching needle. It's a large needle and some wax nylon thread. That's for leather stitching, and you can get that on eBay or at a leather supply shop too. And then these rivets, just these antique bronze rivets I use. And you just need a simple tool. It's like a $10 little punch to set these rivets. And then the only other thing on there is this little brass buckle that I bought. And I just used a bunch of rivets to set that in place like you would a belt buckle. And then these button snaps are the only other thing that you need to make this vest. So it takes a bit of time because I had to hand stitch all this. You need a little awl actually to gouge out a groove for your stitching so that your stitching sits flush and doesn't get worn out and frayed, right? But other than that, yeah, I just used my woodworking tools, just cut the leather with my Olfa knife, and used a sanding block. You can even use a belt sander just to take the sharp edge off the leather so it kind of has a rounded edge, burnished edge it's called in leatherworking. And then yeah, this is the system. So what it is here is it's a large strip of leather. I'll open it up for you so you can kind of see a bit. I cut this large strip of leather. It's different for every person, right? But I brought it just around my hips so that there's about 6 inches of space in where your belt buckle would be. And then I cut these belt loop slots through it. And then I ran this piece of leather as a belt, basically, that threads through all these loops. And then all your tools are just mounted on that belt that you can undo with these button snaps. Just unthread it through the loop. You can take your tool pouch off, interchange whatever pouch you want in there. Whether you're a sparky or a framer or finishing carpenter like myself. Yeah, and then you just have it set up whatever way you want, right? And you can put pouches on the back. If you want, keep your pouches in the back. Some guys like to roll that way. But yeah, I got my chisel pouch on here and a small little screw pouch that I modified as well from a larger drywaller's pouch so that I could keep my squares and stuff handy in here so that they're not falling out of my pouch. But yeah, that's basically the system. I'll show you a clip here of it on so that you can see how it fits and the ergonomics of it. Yes, it's a large word. Ergonomics. It's about as big as it gets for me. I'm a carpenter. Yeah, so this is how the vest goes on. This little center snap right at your chest is nice because that's kind of a hinge point in your body when you're working. I keep the bottom of the vest open, right, so that when I'm moving around, crouching down, that sort of stuff, the vest doesn't get in the way. It just moves to either side but stays latched together. So that's kind of a critical feature with the vest so that you're not bunching up and constricting your movement when you're working. I keep my blade cross draw. This has actually worked out really well. It's always super handy and just a natural motion to draw it out across your body, kind of like you would a handgun, as opposed to like having it here and you kind of not as fluid a movement. But yeah, the other feature is these straps here that I got. All these are is Carhartt elastic suspender straps. I just took a set of them, cut them all up, riveted them, stitched them in place here so that the suspension on this thing is nice and springy, right? So that you don't have the leather straps kind of digging into your shoulders. It's literally got no pressure points on your body, so that's a really good option to incorporate in your vest if you're going to make one, is to use these elastic 2-inch wide suspender straps and just stitch them and rivet them on. And then yeah, other than that, it's just these chunks of leather that I riveted and stitched to the main belt section here, and then same in the back. Just one piece of leather that I stitched and riveted to the belt section, as you can see there. And then I sandwiched the elastic straps in between two pieces of leather and then stitched through both of them so that your straps are never going to kind of tear loose or get the stitching will pull through, that sort of thing. So that way it's solid and it can carry a lot of weight that way. And I just got this little pouch here for a little metal rule, small files, stuffed drill bits and stuff in there, and then spring punch, my pencils and stuff. This little pocket I keep my 18 gauge pins in, and a couple extra razor blades for my knife so that I don't have to run back to my van every time I need a new knife blade. I always have an extra on me. The last little feature I'll show you about this tool pouch that I invented, this little feature, as far as I know, is you know what one of these is Japanese handsaw, and they're an invaluable tool. I just gotta have one with me at all times. But there's no convenient way to carry one of these on your person, especially with conventional tool pouches. But with a tool vest, what I did with my vest is right here where I have this little banner that I'm going to engrave my last name into, in behind there I inserted some rare earth magnets so that when I'm not using my handsaw, I can just put it on my back and it's always stuck there. Never going to come off unless it snags on something. And you always have a handsaw handy, so if you're climbing up in the rafters, making notch cuts, or doing whatever, you know, you always have the saw on you, which is a really handy feature to have. And placing it on your back means it's out of the way. It's not likely going to snag or scratch or dent anything as you're walking, because unless you're leaning up against the wall, you know, it's always out of the way. But super convenient to grab. It's just right there on your back, hands-free. So yeah, that's my little invention. You're welcome to incorporate that into your tool pouch. Just give me the props. Alright, so yeah, that's my tool vest. If you have any more questions about how I made it, send them in the comments or send me an email and I'd be happy to help you out. But other than that, it's just a bunch of stitching, bunch of rivets, a couple button snaps, load it up and get to work. Alright, you're welcome.